Welcome, Dominica. This is Kairi TV News. I am your presenter, Tonella Riviere. Here are the big stories making the headlines. DLP hopeful for Collio delivers plans to the people. The Dominica Red Cross making its presence greater known in the East. And the motor vehicle accident over the weekend leaves one man dead. We will be back with details of these stories and more after the break.
Are you looking for that perfect setup for your conference, seminar, or company function? Or maybe you need a low-budget setup for your party, dinner, or private gathering? How about that professional production for your grand concert, festival, or outdoor event? Kairi Sounds is here to provide you with everything you need: PA system, stage, lighting, microphones, tents, LED digital screens, generators, projectors, crowd barriers, and more. We also offer free event consultation to ensure the success of your special event. Call us today at 612-4050 or 612-1265. Kairi Sounds, your partner in sound, stage, and lighting services.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, education is top on the agenda for DLP hopeful for the Collio constituency. Nathaniel Durand has more.
Darren Pinard, a former employee of the National Bank of Dominica, NBD, is seeking to replace Catherine Daniel as the Dominica Labour Party candidate for the Collio constituency in the December 6 general elections. Speaking at a rally to launch Pinard in the constituency on Tuesday, he told the public that educational advancements for the youth rank high on his agenda.
We see the need for major improvements in our education system here in Collio. But for too many years, I have looked at the results coming out of our common entrance, CXC, state colleges, and so on. And for too many years, I have been very disappointed with the results. Okay? I just wonder, why exactly it is that our students seem to be performing well below the national average. And this is something that has troubled me, and this is one of the things that I really think that we need to address. We have identified the need to create a learning center within a multi-purpose community center in Collio and in Dubla. We would bring in some tutors where necessary to help with the special SBAs. So what we're looking to do is to give that additional support to our students.
In addition to educating the youth, Pinard vowed to further develop the fishing sector in the area.
We need a greater revival of the fishing industry in the Collio constituency. The conch shell must once again blow on our shores, announcing the return of our fishermen, bringing home the day's catch. The Dominica Labour Party will continue to provide the strongest support to our fishermen here in Collio, Dubla, and Biosh. We already have plans in place to fix up our fisheries complex in Biosh. We will also support the Dubla Fisheries Cooperative and assist them in completing the marvelous job that has already been done on the fisheries building. The Dominica Labour Party government will help our local boat builders increase their boat building efficiency and capacity. Of course, in return, we will probably ask them to employ a couple guys, and in turn, we will also ask them to sell the boats at the minimum price to our fishermen. So that way, we can foster economic activity and, increase that cycle of economic growth right here within the constituency.
The next rally to launch a first-time candidate for the Dominica Labour Party will be Thursday, 17th November in Maho. Nathaniel Durand, Kairi TV News.
Thank you, Nathaniel. In more developments, police are investigating a fatal traffic collision in Coolibistry, which occurred on Sunday morning. Police say Donley Thomas of Benz hit pedestrian Marcel Tulo, age 48 of Coolibistry, while driving in a southerly direction on the Eo-Libla Highway. Sergeant Fixton Henderson has more details.
On Sunday, 13th November 2022, about 8:10 a.m., Donley Thomas, male adult of Benz, was driving his Toyota Mac X car in a southerly direction along the Eo-Libla Highway in Coolibistry when his car collided with pedestrian Marcel Toulon, male 48 years old of Kolibistri. Marcel Toulon received multiple injuries, mainly to his chest, back and extremities. He was transported to the emergency department of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital in a critical condition and subsequently admitted to the Alford ward. He was pronounced dead later that same evening by a medical doctor. His body is being kept at a funeral home awaiting a post-mortem. The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force expresses its sincere condolences to the family and friends of the deceased, Marcel Toulon.
Returning to the political scene, the opposition coalition continues efforts to challenge snap general elections. Here is Linda Martin with more.
The opposition coalition intends to meet directly with the president to protest against the call for a snap general election by the ruling Dominica Labour Party. According to leader of the Dominica Freedom Party, Bernard Ito, the movement will also engage all private sector, religious, and other civil society organizations to further marshal the forces of good in the country to bring pressure to bear on this government to cancel what they view as an illegitimate election.
The coalition movement intends to meet directly with the president of our nation to protest this latest outrage. The movement will also engage with all private sector, religious, and other civil society organizations on Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. The intent of these meetings are to further marshal the forces of good in our country, to bring pressure to bear on this government to cancel this illegitimate election. But our mobilization will not stop regardless of the outcome of this present election. The coalition forces intend to organize, lead, and engage with all our fellow citizens so that with one coherent voice, the soul of our island can be rescued by replacing this draconian and ineffective government.
Ito noted on November 14th, the opposition coalition met with the senior commander of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force and agreed to a mutually beneficial framework of engagement.
On November 14th, 2022, the opposition coalition met with the senior command of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force and agreed to a mutually beneficial framework of engagement. Both parties agreed that they have certain rights and obligations under the Constitution. The coalition forces made clear that they have a right to protest the illegitimate elections to be held on December 6, 2022, and intend to do so vigorously in the coming weeks and months. The coalition views this election as illegitimate because while the calling of the election is deemed legal, it will not reflect the true will of the people given the gross tainting of an unreformed electoral process. Therefore, the coalition intends to fight this injustice and win, but the fight will be a fight of ideas, a fight of conscience, and a fight of moral authority that will convince our fellow citizens to replace this government before the next 5 years.
The opposition coalition has scheduled a peaceful protest for Thursday, 17th November on the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard. Linda Martin for Kairi TV News.
Thank you, Linda, for that report. You are watching Kairi TV News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Are you looking for that perfect setup for your conference, seminar, or company function? Or maybe you need a low-budget setup for your party, dinner, or private gathering? How about that professional production for your grand concert, festival, or outdoor event? Kairi Sounds is here to provide you with everything you need: PA system, stage, lighting, microphones, tents, LED digital screens, generators, projectors, crowd barriers, and more. We also offer free event consultation to ensure the success of your special event. Call us today at 612-4050 or 612-1265. Kairi Sounds, your partner in sound, stage, and lighting services.
Welcome back. In health matters, Labour Party candidate for the Roseau Valley constituency, Dr. Earthin McIntyre, says Dominica has made great progress within the health sector over the last few years.
Speaking at a recent DLP rally in Cochrane, Dr. McIntyre noted, over the last 5 years, Dominica has had much success in achieving sustainable development goals set for the region.
Over the past 5 years, there has not been one maternal mortality case in Dominica. And can you imagine, according to the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, the United Nations WHO set, that target was supposed to have been reached in 2030. We reached that target 5 years ago.
According to Dr. McIntyre, Dominica has made constant progress in the health sector, including the reduction of neonatal mortality by 50%, along with raising the HPV vaccine rates in grade 6 students during the pandemic.
Also in terms of neonatal mortality, it's presently 7.6 per 100,000. But now this is down 50% from where it was 5 years ago. Constant progress we keep making. If you talk about infant mortality, we are down 40% compared to 2 years ago where we were. This is the different progress we're making. That cervical cancer is on the downward trend here. And you have to appreciate our health staff. Can you imagine we have a COVID-19 pandemic, we have online learning. How do we get the immunizations up? Our staff still did it. That we are leading in HPV vaccine for our grade 6 students in the entire region.
He says the DLP government is one which thinks ahead, as Dominica is currently reviewing its present health system to close the gaps in healthcare exposed during the pandemic.
We think ahead and we're finalizing the blueprint for our health system as we go along. Because COVID-19 came, it taught us a lesson, so we have to be pragmatic. We have to adjust, and we have to train, and we have to change things, and that is what we do as a government. We're not just stable there. We don't sleep on ourselves. We're thinking 2-3 steps ahead. That is who we are. And you have to be proud when you have a government like that in the Commonwealth of Dominica.
And moving on to the east of the country, the Dominica Red Cross is mobilizing resources to assist persons in the east of the island affected by the recent drought system.
Director General of the Dominica Red Cross Society, Sandra Chatter-Roll, says the society has made available some relief supplies to the Petite Soufrière, Saint-Sauveur and Good Hope communities through their branch office in Good Hope.
With the situation in the east, our volunteers are assisting by providing supplies to the people in the Petite Soufrière area. We have distributed solar lights, for instance, because for the past couple of days, we recognized there were no electricity. So we have provided solar lights to the residents there and some hygiene supplies. And we are collecting food items so we can, bring up to the residents in that community. We do have a branch in Good Hope, so they are undertaking assisting the residents in that community.
Chatter-Roll says the Red Cross is also continuing training for the response team in the Benz, Ansdime and Ansolda communities to provide them with the needed tools to deal with any disaster in their area.
The training began last month, and we are training them in various aspects of disaster management to include search and rescue, first aid, psychosocial support, etc. And at the end of the training, they will be provided with the necessary tools for response. We are also assisting in the development of their disaster plan, and we will also be assisting in doing their hazard map. So at the end of the session, they will receive a copy of their plan, their hazard map, and the necessary tools and equipment for response to any eventuality in that community. So at least there'll be a group of persons from that community who would be trained to respond in the community of Benz. Well, not just Benz, but that includes Asolda and Ansdime.
She says at the end of the training, the group will be put through a simulation exercise for members to get hands-on practical exposure to dealing with such situations. The training is expected to continue to the end of this year.
You are watching Kairi TV News. Stay tuned for a recap of the headlines right after this.
Are you looking for that perfect setup for your conference, seminar, or company function? Or maybe you need a low-budget setup for your party, dinner, or private gathering? How about that professional production for your grand concert, festival, or outdoor event? Kairi Sounds is here to provide you with everything you need: PA system, stage, lighting, microphones, tents, LED digital screens, generators, projectors, crowd barriers, and more. We also offer free event consultation to ensure the success of your special event. Call us today at 612-4050 or 612-1265. Kairi Sounds, your partner in sound, stage, and lighting services.
To end the news, the headlines again. DLP hopeful for Colio delivers plans to the people. The Dominican Red Cross making its presence greater known in the East. And the motor vehicle accident on the weekend leaves one man dead. Tune in to 107.9, 93.1, 91.1, and 88.7 to catch our radio newscasts at 6:30 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. Tune in to Flow Channel 953 at 8 p.m. Monday to Friday to watch our TV newscast with repeats at 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Kairi FM. Check us out on Instagram at Kairi FM and follow us on Twitter at Kairi FM Dominica. Feel free to visit our YouTube channel to catch up on any newscasts you may have missed. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Donella Riviere. Thank you for watching.